This morning, the Kaukauna School Board met in a closed session to decide what happens next for a teacher placed on leave after a social media post following the assassination attempt on President Donald Trump. Action 2 News reporter Maria Parmigiani is in Kaukauna with what we know right now and what could happen next if the board doesn't reach a decision.
It was a closed-door meeting all Wednesday at the Kaukauna School District as the school board met and discussed the fate of Patrick Meyer. He was a teacher here at Kaukauna High School and was put on administrative leave after he tweeted something offensive about President Trump after an assassination attempt. Parents complained, he was put on administrative leave, and now his fate hangs in the balance after this meeting. Now, the meeting lasted all day Wednesday, and if nothing came to fruition, the meeting will continue Thursday at 6. In Kaukauna, Maria Parmigiani, Action 2 News.